Hello and welcome here to Talk FCB, and welcome back here to the channel, guys, for another video. And once again today we are going to be giving some reaction from that Chelsea against Barcelona game, and in general giving a bit of a positive spin on that, because it was a bit of a strange display. We spoke about it last night in the match review. It was a strange sort of feel to how the game went, but overall we got a very good result. We got our away goal. A 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge is a very decent result. So what I thought we would do today is take a closer look at the game in a bit more detail, and most importantly looking ahead to that second leg clash that's coming up in March. And here are some of the things really that should keep us in good spirits, you know, feeling good about that game. And it's Wednesday, the weekend isn't really that close, it's the midweek. Let's keep everybody smiling, and hopefully these 5 positives will keep you guys in a good mood. So we'll start here with the obvious, of course. We got our away goal. That's number 1 here, that's key. Overlooking the performance yesterday, we got exactly what we came for. We came here not to lose the game. We didn't want to lose under any circumstances, and what we did want to get ourselves a vital away goal, and that's exactly what we did. We earned ourselves a very, very valuable goal at a difficult stadium. It was a difficult game, a difficult occasion. Chelsea are never an easy team to face, and given the way the Champions League works, you can't put a price on that away goal. Heading back to your own stadium in a few weeks' time now in the second leg, knowing that we have the advantage, and we really, really do. Out of 2 teams here, we are definitely favourites now. With that away goal, we didn't lose, and Chelsea have got to chase the game just a little bit at the Camp Nou in a few weeks' time. And it wasn't just the fact we got an away goal in this game, it was the man who delivered that killer blow, Lionel Messi. I think we were all desperate to see Messi end that drought against Chelsea. He'd never scored in his previous 8 appearances versus Chelsea, as we'd heard in the build-up, but this felt like the game that Messi was finally going to end that, and he did it in brilliant style too. So we can finally put to bed now the end of Messi never scores against Chelsea, Messi against English opposition. He can put that one to bed, just like he put the Buffon. He'd never scored against Buffon. That was put to bed earlier on the season as well. Messi right now is breaking records like he never has before. And you could see as well, from Chelsea's point of view, after the game, their players, their coach, their fans, they felt like they played a great game, but they hadn't really got the ideal result they came for. They could have had a much better result here, and it didn't quite happen for them. And I think for some ways, we definitely came out of this, as a result, much better off. And that's the thing with me. When you look at Chelsea, when you look at their reaction following this game, Antonio Conte, the players as well, I don't personally think Chelsea can play a better game than they did last night in the second leg. For me, Chelsea can't eclipse that. Obviously, you can look at our own performance, but in truth, in this kind of game, although we might not like to, because, you know, it's Chelsea, we don't really have a great relationship, it is a bit of a rivalry in Europe, you've got to hold your hands up and say last night Chelsea played an excellent game. They really did. Their players, all 11 of them, chipped in together and put in a very, very good team display. If it wasn't for one missed pass from Christensen, they would have come away from that game with a really, really good result. I mean, personally, from a personal preference, it wasn't really a style of play that I'd be particularly proud of. You know, I wouldn't really want to see my team playing in that way. But Antonio Conte found something that really worked. It was very effective last night, and his players, as a credit to him, executed his game plan perfectly. So in that way, Chelsea last night were absolutely terrific. A lot of people are saying, you know, Barca underestimated Chelsea, Barca fans underestimated them. I don't think it was that at all. I think we all expected Chelsea to be very, very difficult to break down. It was expected to be a very, very difficult game. But I just think in this one, actually, Chelsea were the ones who overperformed. They were the ones last night who really rose to the occasion. They played better than what we were expecting, and it was them, actually, that massively overperformed in this game. You ask any Chelsea fan, and they haven't seen their team play like this season. Not with that kind of intensity, not with that kind of cutting edge in the final third. Chelsea, by far, their best display of the season. Antonio Conte came out after the game. He said they felt like they'd played a near-perfect game. Willian came out after the game, and he said it was actually his best ever Chelsea performance. And can that kind of level be replicated? I'd be very, very surprised if they even match that at the Camp Nou in the second leg. And if they were to somehow exceed that level, I would be flabbergasted. Chelsea, for me, reached their limit last night. They were absolutely brilliant, but I just don't see them eclipsing that performance. I don't see them doing anything better at the Camp Nou. The only way in some some ways for Chelsea is down. And don't forget, Chelsea know that in the second leg they have to score. If they want to progress, they need to go to the Camp Nou and score a goal, which could provide a very big headache for Antonio Conte. And then on the flip side of that, my next point would simply be the complete opposite to that when it comes to ourselves. Because in the way that Chelsea overperformed last night, in the way that Chelsea really did stand up and give something they hadn't really provided all season long, a great performance, I personally think we underperformed. We weren't really as good. We weren't really as good, certainly in the final third last night. And although I've said in my review and obviously the player ratings, I don't think we were awful. I don't think we were really bad, anything like that. But I just think in that second leg, it's really highly unlikely that we'll show that lack of creativity that we did last night. In the second leg, at the Camp Nou, we're going to do better. You can count on that. I absolutely believe that in the second leg, we will show an improvement. Chelsea, their only level for me is downwards, and our only level is certainly upwards. Last night, we managed just 2 shots on target in the entire game. That was Suarez's attempt from an impossible angle, which, to be honest, he only took on that shot because there was no Barca player anywhere near him. He was extremely isolated, and the only other shot on target, of course, was the goal. Messi's goal, which, as we've said, came only through a Chelsea mistake. So you've got to feel like in our own stadium, in a much bigger pitch, in front of our own fans, in a good atmosphere, in our own game, we are going to come out a lot better with a lot more firepower. And as I'm going to come on to now, I think we're going to see a lot more creativity on that pitch, and the reasoning for that is a change in personnel. And that brings me swiftly on to Ernesto Valverde and his team selection, which I think, to be honest, we all questioned last night. And not only us, there was journalists after the game that really did press him on his decision to start Paulinho. In his press conference, he said that basically it wasn't a time for experiments, so I chose Paulinho based on the performance we've seen from him during the season so far. And I think that's a bit strange, because like I mentioned in my key questions video before the game, that theory would have been fair enough. Paulinho started the season at a decent level, he combined well with Messi, he provided some key goals, but in the last few weeks we've certainly seen a regressed Paulinho. His level for sure has gone down. He's underperformed in the last few games that he's played, so I was surprised, to be honest, that Valverde started him last night, because possibly we could have seen that coming. But that's done now. We've got to put that to one side, put it behind us. But the point here would be, I think Valverde surely has to learn from this mistake. It's done now, we will move on. But in that second leg, we know what we're up against. We know who performs, we know who doesn't, we know who can be effective, we know what kind of positions we need to really work on. And I really wouldn't expect to see Paulinho starting on the right during the second leg. And hopefully Valverde will start to look at more creative players, more players suited to the wing positions, more suited to the style of play that we like to play, certainly at home, when we're trying to create goals and create chances. And I think Valverde has to start looking to the following players to provide us with that width, that creativity, that pace. And that brings me on to my final positive. And for me, this is the one that brings me most excitement, most optimism. This is the one for me that I think our season could take a massive upturn with these two players, Ousmane Dembele and Nelson Semedo. And it's as simple as that, really. I think these two must, absolutely must, be integrated into this team during the next few weeks. Because that's the beauty of it right now. That's the beauty of this year's Champions League draw. We've got exactly 4 weeks from today's date to get ourselves absolutely ready for that return leg. At the Camp Nou, 14th of March. Get it in your diary. That is when we will be facing Chelsea. And in that time, we need to get ourselves ready. We have 4 games in that time. All of them in the league. Girona at home, Las Palmas away, Atletico at home, and Malaga away. In those 4 games, we have to see Dembele. We have to see him there, and consistently too. He has to take part in those games. He has to start gelling with his teammates, and he needs time on the pitch. That's what he needs right now. He needs to establish full match fitness, and he needs time out there to get some confidence. Get some confidence and get some momentum in his Barcelona career. He needs to kickstart that, and for that to happen, he needs to be selected. And exactly the same thing goes for Nelson Semedo. He'll be back from suspension in the second leg, and he now should get his fair chance in the team. Roberto must move to midfield, then you've got Semedo, you've got Roberto, you've got Dembele. Those are all options for the right hand side that last night was so stagnant, it was so poor, it was so lethargic. On that right hand side, we need to spice it up. Now is the time for change. Now is the time to initiate something new. We need to give these players a chance. We need to start making good decisions going forward, and these kind of decisions at this stage of the season can be absolutely vital. Valverde's got to look at his team, he's got to say, you know what, we've got a good result, we've got a positive result, we've got an away goal. Now, in the weeks that we lead up to that game, we can get things right. And you've got to know as well in there, Atletico Madrid at home in the league, that's a vital game too. So we need to start getting things right, improving on our performances, for sure creating more chances, and taking the burden off Messi. Because it always seems like right now, it's all about Messi. If Messi doesn't score, if Messi doesn't assist, we really struggle in games. He shouldn't have that constant burden. He should be able to play at times with a bit of freedom, not really feeling like everything is based all around him. And for that to happen, Valverde has to get that balance right across that team and introduce some more creative players. So leave your thoughts down below, guys. Those are my 5 positives. Those are things that I think we can feel good about. We can have really good faith going into the second leg. And don't get me wrong, I think we're clear favourites here. We've got a good result. We're definitely going to perform better in the second leg. I would be so surprised to see Chelsea play at that enormously high level once again. And I think we can definitely progress to the next stage. But that's not just about this. We want to get it right in that game, but we also want to get it right in the games that follow that. Really crucial games in the Champions League, in quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, in the big games where it matters. We need to get it absolutely right, or we're going to be punished. So let me know your thoughts, like I say, in the comments down below, guys. What were your positives from last night's game? What do you think we need to work on? Let me know all that and more. And of course, there will be more videos coming up very soon as we look more into this game, as we look ahead to the season that's coming. And of course, the games are coming thick and fast. We've got Girona at home on the weekend, and we're going to be ready and up to speed with that game on the channel very shortly. So I'll see you soon, guys. Thank you as always for joining me. But until then, as always, Visca El Barça.